Hey guys, how you doing? We're out here in Mammoth Lakes, right behind Lake Crowley off the 395. Enjoying a pretty amazing view. With the last video I think I left you, we were at Gooseberry Mesa in Utah, outside of Zion. When I gave you a rig rundown on basically our first trip with the trailer that I built, since then there's been quite a few changes I knew we needed to do. So far the trailer itself has just held up stellar. We did have a snafu where the that rear wheel right there actually flew off on the freeway at about 55 miles an hour. Blew up the fender a little bit, but everybody was safe and okay. It didn't cause any accidents. That was a very, very scary moment, but I think we got that all locked down. So basically the changes that we did, I'm not sure if I had this actual gas bottle here, but it might have been a 20-pound when we had it, but it's just basically a swing out here, and the main connection in is right here. It's also wide out here with a gauge, and this line goes directly into the Mr. Buddy heater that you can see right underneath here, and that's in our shower, and that works great in mild temperatures. I also have a 5-pound bottle with a nice radiant heater in there, and when you're out here in the snow taking a shower, it is quite incredible. So the best thing about this shower enclosure here is that it completely folds down, wraps up. It's 4-sided, and as you can see here, well, this is not the cleanest shower, but there's our hot water heater back there. And when you hang your towels here and this heater is on, basically it creates a sauna in here, and it's a great place to sort of retreat if it's a little bit too cold. And you know, it's one of the only things that I don't like about the trailer, just because it's kind of like a sore thing site. But man, I can't tell you, taking a shower every day, you know, from the activities that we do and getting cleaned up is unbelievably refreshing. I couldn't do it without it. Kudos to you guys that, you know, can't take showers for weeks on end, but I'm sorry, I have to. So anyways, we also have well, I don't have one of the water bottles here, but we have some LC2 5-gallon water bottles, 4 of them on the truck. And we also carry a couple of other auxiliary water storage, so we can, you know, get the military showers out here pretty nice and easy, and, you know, like I said, get really cleaned up. This is one of the major things that changed. This used to be a swing out, which was great, but you know, we also had to carry a second step because this is pretty high off the ground here. So I replaced the hitch on my Avalanche, and then this is actually my old hitch. You see right there? It's weird because we had these connection points for the recovery rings here on the trailer itself, and it fit perfectly with the mounts. And I can't do this with one hand on the camera, but this actually swings up and closes in between this area here and carries a spare tire, and I need to reattach that step right there, but now we've got 2 steps up and in, and it is awesome. It works out great. It works out perfectly. This little crossbar right here, oops, that little crossbar right there is from, something's going on with my gimbal here, hang on, sorry guys. That little crossbar right there was from a mountain bike rack that I had, and those little latches lock into there and hold in the whatchamacallit perfectly, the on both sides, the tire rack and step. So that I think is perfect. Works out great. And underneath here, I don't know if we had this back, I don't know if you can see it in there, but we've also now got, there we go, airbag support, because it was quite heavy for the axle, even though it's a 2,900 pound axle. Sorry, 3,500 pound axle. We're fully loaded. We're at 2,700 pounds on this trailer with everything that we got on it. We finished that trip out, and yeah, we were exactly at 2,700 pounds. And there was actually even a lot more stuff that we normally carry in there. So I think we're doing pretty well. And prior to us doing a bunch of these trips, these snow trips, I was using Mr. Buddy Heater inside, which, you know, okay, if you need heat, is great. But out here in the cold, condensation sucks balls. So it was pretty much, these walls were just full of water and stuff. So it really kind of sucks. So we took that out. Sorry for the mess, guys, but it what we did end up doing is going to a diesel heater, and it fit perfectly here in this space. There's a little exhaust port, and this is my first time using it on this trip. We got down to 1 degree past couple of nights out here, and there's my fuel tank, which I actually upgraded as well. And at the start of this trip, this has been running for 4 nights in a row, 9+ hours at a time. And if you can see the fuel level line right there, we started at about here. And I mean, this thing is just sipping so little fuel here. Yep. Okay, got to open that valve up. That it is just, it has been completely amazing. Almost too amazing, because it's too hot. I got the 5 kilowatt and it is too hot. And so I have to actually open up all these windows to make it actually even bearable on its lowest setting. But you know, pick and choose your poison. It has been far beyond what the Mr. Buddy Heater has been. So it is definitely, if you guys get a chance to, even if you have a car or a tent or whatever, this is the way to go, because it's safe. It requires almost zero energy, and just sips the gas on any setting. So from there, we actually changed the awning. The awning before was orange, and it was wrapped around these load bars. We ended up using 2 guy wires. And the first night out here, it was pretty horrendously windy, and this thing held up with no problem. I mean, granted, it flaps around a lot, makes some noise, but I trust it that it can handle some pretty heavy winds. And we also have the front awning now that is connected by a triangle piece right here. So when this front awning comes out, there's another piece that covers this area. So in the heat, it'll also cover the refrigerator if the refrigerator is out, so it won't get direct sunlight. And this refrigerator has actually been a newer upgrade, because we had the original DZ75 and something happened with it. So we got the warranty and they gave us the new CFX, and so far so good. I mean, they didn't actually have the bag for the newer CFX. So I had to, because everything was reversed, right? So the window was on the other side of the bag, but the way this thing works with the plugs and all that kind of stuff, I had to cut out that window and, you know, kind of sew it, which was really tough to do because that stuff is serious heavy material, and my bag is kind of limited. My sewing machine was kind of limited. So that is that. We've also realized that since we cook, I mean, at home we have 6 burners and we use them all. And since I only have 2 of them here, it made cooking, especially because I like to have, you know, like hot food. I don't like stuff sitting at the side. I got this Everest cooktop for, I think it was $25 at a used sports store. And this thing actually blows this $2,000 Fire Magic thing away because of its wind abatement. I mean, you could be in howling winds and this thing will not blow out. This thing will blow out if I fart But I mean, don't get me wrong, this thing is pretty amazing. So I've been recently trying to Y this out here from this gas connection point to this, but that line is already regulated, and there's a regulator on here, so there's almost no gas that comes in here, so I have to have a straight line. I just got to figure it out. I don't really want to pull the regulator out of this thing just to keep it safe, but you know, that's it is what it is. But that has definitely helped. Now, the latest major upgrade are some new rims. Got this down the street from a buddy of mine that has a used tire shop, and he had these tires also, some trail grapplers, for super cheap, and they were still in great condition. They're perfect for a trailer. You know, it's really for looks only. I wouldn't advise using these on trailers, but what the hell. So the best thing about this is that I don't have 5-lug rims anymore. I've got universal bolt pattern that matches my truck. So while I still carry a spare on this, man, if I didn't have 2 spares that were the same bolt pattern, I mean, that was kind of stupid on my part. I didn't really think about it. But we did change the drum. We didn't change the axle. We just changed the drum to 6-bolt, 139 by 6.5. So it matches my truck. And they almost look exactly the same. Those ones are XD Monster 2s on my truck. And these are, I don't know, generic brands, but who cares? It's on the trailer. So I've also got another spare, the second set, another tire at home. Yeah, I wouldn't consider putting a double spare back here, but I don't know, if I had room, maybe I would. You know, we do travel quite far back, you know, so it wouldn't be so bad. I'm not sure if I had these lights here, but there's 4 lights at each point that illuminate here. I'm having problems with this one right now. These are just basically Harbor Freight specials, but I think there's something with going on with the relay or something that keeps blowing the fuse. So tires are great. Rims are great. Having the same lug pattern is great. And now finally, our power source. I ran this thing off of a Harbor Freight, 2 Harbor Freight batteries, which again were great. But they were starting to lose their life. So I built a lithium iron phosphate battery pack. This is 100 amp hours, running off Victron Energy 7515. So I can Bluetooth to this thing. It'll give me all the data coming in from the panel and all that stuff. And yeah, you guys are probably like looking at the wiring going, dude, come on, man. I'm like, yeah, if there's anything that I could change, but I don't want to spend a lot of time until I knew that this thing is like working out perfectly. And I do want to standardize sort of the wiring that I'm using in there. So I will definitely redo this. I will probably move the switching panel to up here. And this has kind of been a sore thing here because I always have to move the refrigerator out to access anything. And there's a ton of stuff that I use here all the time. So it makes life a little bit of a pain in the butt to get stuff that I need. But anyways, I'll have to figure that out. Maybe turn it into a drawer or something, but that might be a little bit tough. And got a sort of generic fire extinguisher here. Also my fire permit, which I need to renew. So yes, this battery pack now barely bumps it. I mean, talk about pure power. It almost sees very little energy loss with a heater. Granted, that's taking very little, you know, like half an amp or even less than that. But even when the refrigerator compressor is on, that thing doesn't even think that there's any draw going on at it. Basically what the Victron Energy solar controller is telling me. So yeah, I mean, this lithium iron phosphate battery pack for this 100 amp hours, if I would have gotten something like a Battleborn, would cost about $1,000. But we built this for, I believe, $350. They had a sale over Christmas, and with the BMS, the battery management system, that's pretty much balances all the cells. Balancing all the cells took some time because the only way you can build it is to make sure that all the cells have the same amount of voltage. And then you have to balance everything out from there, and then spot weld all the connections in there. And that's really it. It's done. It was so simple. Anybody could actually do it. It's a great project, and I actually have, I think, 16 more cells left over that I can do an accessory battery pack and that will carry close to 15 amp hours. So it's pretty amazing. So that is the trailer. Yeah, is there still stuff to do? Yes, absolutely. I'm going to actually spend a day. There's Mammoth Mountain there. I'm not going to ski on a Saturday or a Sunday because that place is just a madhouse. So I'm just going to be out here messing with stuff both on the truck and the trailer. The truck got some new shoes and socks. XD Monster 2s. Again, got it from the same guy down the street. The rims I did. And upgraded to BFG KM3s, which are baller. That's all I can say. I mean, they're okay. Yeah, you should know. We moved the ski racks to the side here. They were on the top. These boxes were a little bit lower. And it was just kind of a pain in the butt to get to the skis. So I put them on the side here. We've got the high lift jack that has seen tons of use. And we've got all our recovery gear up here. We've got two pairs of Max Tracks, 2 black, 2 orange. And then the spare is right up there. Hopefully I'll never have to take that down. And then we also have our solar up there, same panel that's on there on the trailer, Kyocera 130. They probably about, oh man, 20 years of service on these panels, and they're still putting close to, I don't know, 70 volts out. And also I got a 6 watt Midland antenna up there, because we now do have the MT75 275 radio to communicate. We have a Lenovo ThinkPad that is our navigation media center here, which is great. It actually covers my radio. We also have a Diablo Sport tuner. I don't know if the last video when we were out in Gooseberry Mesa, I had a pedal commander here, and that pretty much blew up 2 throttle bodies and threw us check engine light, out in miles away from civilization. And that is just probably one of the worst feelings you can ever have, to have a check engine light. And it took a while to actually diagnose that it was the pedal commander. So I put the Diablo Sport Trinity on there, and good Lord, that has just woken up my motor. It's tunable. Unfortunately, we're here in California, so we're fairly limited as what I can tune. I can still send it out, but getting smog checks would have been difficult. Anyways, we also have a van top dash cam that's connected also to a rear cam. And the only unfortunate thing about this is that it takes a lot of energy, and our cigarette lighters are constant power. So it will tend to run batteries down if you're not on top of it. Not to the point where you won't have any power after a couple of days, but even after a day, it sounds like it's just a hard start. And this is off of a new battery as well. So the other thing, which I wasn't sure I was going to actually get my battery pack done, ready for this trip. So I went ahead because there was a sale and got a Jackery 500. And I don't even have an inverter, but since this does, now I can plug in my laptop, and holy crap, this thing is awesome too. I mean, just great as a backup. Obviously it's kind of messy back here, but we are on a trip. So, and that is connected to the solar panel as well. And, 10 watts, from 10%, charging 10% from off of this panel in full sun in a day is probably 35-40 minutes. No joke. I mean, if it's reading 90% on that battery, to get to 100 is super quick. Now, I don't know if that's an electronics thing, but I mean, I have yet to test it from battery shutoff to full charge with this thing. They say, I don't know, 8 hours, but you know, I have no problem believing that that thing will hold up incredibly. So anyways, I think that is it. I don't know if I think we had the winch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got some extra lights here because driving at night, seeing at a 45-degree angle around corners is huge. So those little side lights, mounted lights here are awesome. And anything else, I think the suspension is, yeah, pretty much the same. Cognitos with the Fox 2.5s. And let me tell you guys, these Fox 2.5s, if you can find them, I mean, we're in COVID pandemic right now, and these things have been 6 to 8 months out. So I believe that they just delivered to some of our friends that have shops. But yeah, it's been tough this past year, but that's given me a lot of time to rework a lot of stuff on the trailer and to do some work on the truck as well. We did a lot of upgrades as far as recovery gear. You know, that from that first trip, it was all about figuring out what would go wrong with the trailer and see how it would hold up. But everything went wrong with the truck. Aside from the pedal commander, we had to change CV axles, we had to change hubs, we had to drop the rear axle and change a bent spring. So yeah, all the tools that were in those boxes up there and all the recovery gear was used quite a bit during that trip. So I think that is it, guys. This trailer has seen quite a few miles over the past, 2 years since it's actually been built. I'm usually up here in Mammoth a couple weeks a month during the ski season. So it's about a 600 mile round trip, 666 to be exact, from our house. And we come up here during the summer quite a bit. As you can imagine, this is just an amazing place to be. So, also, we were using a compressor here for the airbags because the truck got airbags as well to support. I had to custom make, where is it? There, you can see it on the corner there. I had to make some custom mounts for it, fit right in the axle, and we were using a compressor for that. But the compressor has changed to a CO2 tank. That's a 10-pound, so that carries 1,800 PSI. And filling up tires, how many tires you can fill off of that? Probably 35 tires. It'll run air tools, it just has so many uses, and I don't have to wait for, I don't want to spend $800 for a really expensive, nice compressor. So, and I think that is it, guys. Again, are there going to be changes? Probably. With a truck, I've been thinking about doing a rear-mounted tire rack that has more access to with another Pelican box back here. But the problem is I would have to extend that tongue, and I don't really want to do that because I can't swing out the tire with a trailer connected, and we always need to get into the trunk to fill in groceries and stuff that we do during our trips. So I've been trying to think about a way to have a slide out tire rack here, which I think would just be so freaking awesome, especially for you guys that live in an apartment building and you have to drive your car forward to move, or even in just a garage to swing out and get that trunk open. So yeah, I've been sort of on the computer designing something that might we'll have to see, because it would rely on the bumper. But also, let me show you one of the other last upgrades that I did. The reason that I took that the original hitch off was because it was too low. So we got a Curt Hitch here that now sits in line with the drawbar, whereas the original sat down about 3 or 4 inches here, and I would rub. And while also what I needed here is I needed some toe points. Now the best thing about this right here, I have 2 hitches that I welded on here with some reinforcement there. And basically those act as recovery points. But what they also act as, I don't know if I can actually see it, I have 2 receivers that are connected to this hitch. You can actually kind of, there's a nut right there that, so underneath this there are 2, underneath the winch plate there are 2 receiver hitches that I can pull this thing off and move it to the rear. And I knew I could only do it off of a 2-point system rather than a single point system, because you lose more than half of your pull ratio if you have a single point. So I needed 2 points to recovery, or to at least mount this winch so your side pull is not diminished because of its single point connection to your vehicle. So the amount of strength that I have here on the front is almost equal when I have it mounted on the back. So that makes, you know, having recoveries from either end where you cannot turn around. Yes, it's going to be a problem to bring the hinge back here. It's not too much of a problem, just to unbolt a couple of things, and you know, now the winch is back here. And you know, again, it makes recoveries so much easier. And I didn't really want to have a $1,800 winch back here, so although that would be nice, but right. So that is that, guys. Thanks a lot for listening to the video. I'll update you guys again, you know, once we've done anything else. I really don't know what there else is to do other than just organization stuff. I've got stuff in there that I know I don't need, but if I took it out, I think I would probably go stir crazy, because if I'm out on a trip, I'm like, why did I take that out? And now I need it. And I'm talking about wires, connectors, this kind of stuff, but it just ends up taking up a lot of space when I'm always, you know, wrenching on this thing. Yeah, so it just, I don't know, I'd have a hard time really getting, and it's really nothing. It's all underneath the storage in the back, in those Pelican cases that I have back there. So yeah, I just need to organize it, get it straight, get everything looking a little bit better and more fluid. So there you have it, guys. If you guys need any advice on building trailers, you know, this is the only way we could do it. We park and we drive off. I cannot stand the idea of wrapping up a tent just to go into town to get some groceries and sort of have to break everything down. It's just, that to me is just a pain in the butt. Plus, wind and cold in a tent? No, thank you. It was, like I said, probably about 40-mile-an-hour winds overnight here, and that will make a shit ton of noise. And I didn't hear a single thing aside from a little bit of gentle rocking. That trailer was just, you know, perfect. So anyways, guys, thanks again. Hope you enjoyed my rambling, and we will talk to you soon.